Okay. All right. Any questions so far before I start the scan? All right. Let it go. So let's see what we got. If you look here, where I have it highlighted, we got three ports is discovered so far. We got a 21, we got an 80, and we got a 2222. Okay. To know exactly what's on these ports, we'll have to get a complete scan, but these two ports here are common, 21 and 80. Right? 21 being FTP, 80 being HTTP or a web address, a web server. So, and knowing this, we can get started. Let's take a look at our questions real quick, see what we got. First question asks, how many services are running on the port 1000? Okay, and it looks like our scan completed. That was extra fast, so cool. All right, so how many services do we have? Anybody? Get typing in the chat if you're feeling shy, or come off mic. Come off mute. I'm gonna give you 5, 4, 3, 2. We have three ports here. 21 again, 80, and 2222. All right. All of these contain separate services. We got FTP on 21 again, 80, HTTP, and here we didn't know before, but we have SSH, which is typically on port 22. All right. Doesn't have to be, but in this instance, it is on port 2222 instead of 22. Okay. It happens sometimes. All right. So question asks, how many services are running on the port 1000? Considering 2222 is higher than 1000, there's only two. So that's our first correct answer. All right. What is running on the higher port? Anybody? We just went over it. Highest port is 2222. What service do we have running on it? I'm gonna start.
SSH.
Thank you, Stacy, because I was about to start calling on people tonight. No, I'm playing. I'm not gonna pick on nobody. So SSH. All right. Let's go to the next question. What's the CVE you're using against the application? We haven't gotten this far, so let's take a pause on our questions. All right, let's look at what we got here. All right, suggestions on which port to tackle first. Anybody? We got 21, 80,
FTP.
FTP, 21. All right, best way to tackle that is to log into it and see what we get. If you look, let me take a quick look at this. If you look at the output for our Mmap scan, specifically here on this line, anonymous FTP login allowed, meaning we can log in with the username and password of anonymous. So let me copy that and show you what I mean. So that IP is 10.10.214.201. All right. So as for the name, again, the name here, according to our scan, is anonymous. All right. All right. So log in, no password required. Awesome. So first thing I like to do, let's see what's in here. LS. Okay. Tutu entering extended password mode. You get this sometimes when you try to log in the FTP servers. I don't know what it means. All right, but I know we have to get rid of it to proceed. The way to do that is to go ahead and hold Control C to cancel that. And what you're going to do is enter passive to turn it off. Right? As you can see here, passive mode off, fall back to active mode is off. And now we can take a look at what's inside here. So ls again. All right. Let's do a ls-la so we can see hidden files. This is what this switch is. List and list all. Okay. All right. We have only a single thing here of interest. We have a directory denoted by this D here and the permissions associated, and it's called pub. So let's go inside the pub directory in this FTP server. All right, and let's see what's inside of here. We have a single file, all right, for Mitch.txt. Now we can either download this file to our local machine, or we can read it right here on the FTP server with the command more. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. More for Mitch.txt. And I'll pause here to let anybody catch up for a second. Any questions so far? I know I talk fast and I have a accent, deep Southern accent. All right, so let's proceed. All right, so the text file reads as, damn it, man, you're the worst dev I've seen. You set the same pass or password for the system user, and the password is so weak. I cracked it in seconds. Gosh, what a mess. All right, take this in. There's some clues here. All right, and our first clue, um, it says here that the password is weak. All right, so keep that in mind. Weak password, um, system user, and if we backpedal just a bit from the file name, we could tell that it's for Mitch. So Mitch is probably our user, right? It's the devil's in the details. So we got Mitch. Mitch has a weak password. What could we potentially do with this information? Anybody?
You could maybe access one of his sensitive services. So he has like an email account or something. You could try to access it with the password.
Potentially, but we don't have that much. I guess that vector isn't available. So given what we have, though, given what we have here, all right, and that's not a wrong answer, but given what we have here, what could we do? I'm gonna highlight this so you guys can take a better look. Stacey, you had a suggestion?
Brute force.
Yes, absolutely. We could brute force. Which servers would you like to brute force?
The Hydra.
Well, yeah, that's the tool. Which service?
Oh, the servers. Probably FTP.
FTP. Okay, let's try that. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but let's see what happens.
Oh, you talking about SSH?
No, we're doing FTP now. You said it. All right, so let's try brute forcing FTP. I didn't try this myself, so I'm curious about what I get. So brute forcing tool, right? Everybody's go-to is Hydra. Okay. What is a brute forcing tool? It takes, I guess, some credentials that you provided. For in this instance, we have Mitch, the user, and then we have a password list of which is going to cycle through and potentially match the password to this service, and then provide us with said password. All right. We're not doing SSH. We're going to try FTP. All right. So let me delete all that. And I'm going to go through this command with you guys real quick. So Hydra tool dash L is user a lot. I'm not sure why it's a L, but it's user. Uses Mitch. I think the L stands for login, but we can check that in a second. Dash P password dash capital P for password list, dash P would be for just a password you're supplying it. Like if you think you knew what it was, like uh, password September 2013, for example, you use a dash lowercase p, all right, or TAC, whatever you want to call this, guys. It has different names, all right. And this is the list. If you're using Kali, uh, you should have this same list available to you, the rocku.txt list. This is the IP, but this is incorrect. Let me change that. 214.201. Okay. And lastly, you indicate the service. We're going to try FTP and see what we get. And press enter and let it go. It's going to take a couple seconds, maybe more, depending on your operating system and what you're using. In this instance, it's done and it didn't find anything, right? It tried one-on-one target completed, 0 valid passwords found. And that's okay, right? Now, let's try to do it with SSH. I'm going to run it like this just to show you why it won't work. It's trying, but remember, we don't have a port 22 on this box. It has to be 222,
Oh.
right? So we got to specify that. So let's do that. Attacking SSH IP address port 222. It'll be here forever looking for this, and it doesn't exist. So let's stop it. Okay, to stop any command that's going, Control C. All right, I'm gonna click my screen. Let's try it again. I think I had that command somewhere else. All right, just so I don't make any mistakes here, I'm gonna refer to my walkthrough that I wrote, so it's legit because I wrote it, so I'm not cheating. Okay, all right, no cheating tonight. Where did I put it? In the chat. All right. All right, here. No, not there. All right, here. This is the command we want. All right. And I'll try not to keep using that. But to save time, there we go. All right. So just like the command we used before, but in this case, we're specifying a port. To specify a port with Hydra, it's a -S right here at the end where I have the cursor, right? Put the mouse over it right here. So we're specifying port 2222, so Hydra knows that what we're looking for is on that port. Let's run it. A couple seconds, as you see here, it has the correct port now, and it's trying. And we're going to let that go for a second. I'm going to exit out this FTP server because we no longer need that. Let's clear it. And while this runs, because I'm not sure how long it's going to take, let's take a look at a different port. We're going to try 80 because we've looked at 21 and we're working on 2222. So this is all that's left. If we look at this output here though, a couple of things stand out. All right, it's an Apache server, web server. All right, it's running on an Ubuntu operating system. But really what we're interested in are these two things here. Two disallowed entries. All right, what is that? I'm gonna tell you real quick. Did I think time out? Oh, I used the wrong IP. Let me swap that. What was it again? 201. No, 214 dot 201. All right, it'll work this time. All right. So back over here. That finished way too fast. We'll get back to this in a second. Let's continue looking at what I was saying while we were waiting here on port 80. So there's two things here, right? Two disallowed entries, meaning there's two subdomains that robots.txt is telling a site like Google, perhaps, right? Anything that uses web crawlers to find information, Google being the main one that everybody uses when it searches for things, it's telling the website, it's telling Google not to use these or not to find this stuff here. This dash open MR 5 underscore 0 underscore 1 underscore 3. Let me know if this, oh, what is brute force? I'm sorry, Asia. All right, brute force is, or did I explain it? I may have explained it already. I'm just not looking, seeing your question. Thumbs down if you already got it. Thumbs up if you already got it. Okay, I'll elaborate. Brute forcing. Let me see, do I have an analogy for you, right? I don't. Brute forcing is when you're taking a you're taking credentials and you're just throwing them at something, right? Hoping that something sticks. You're using every word in a word list. Let's say you have 1,000 words in that word list. You're using every single word and trying to match it with the username. And that's what we did here, right? We use Mitch and we use every word in that list. And eventually, and we're back over here. I guess I can go here moving forward. Eventually, we found the password in that list that matches Mitch. And the password here is secret. See that? So that's how people hack accounts. That's one way. All right.
So is there possibly like a word generator that can automatically do this and just let it run?
Yeah, I mean, all right, so the rockyou.txt word list is a word list that was compiled using previously compromised credentials from different websites.
Ah,
It's a old list, but these passwords have been used at some point to access different things. They're like real passwords that real people use, right? Unfortunately, secret is one of those that people just okay. My password is secret. But yeah, so did I clear that up?
you did. Thank you.
Awesome.
Can you scroll back up a bit?
Yeah, I can. Which
It's
this one?
no, bottom right. Yeah,
To the right or the left?
I got it. It's right there.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Awesome. All right. So back over here, let's take a look at port 80. It's probably easier to show you what I mean versus trying to explain this piece. So we're gonna open up a browser. Firefox is included in Kali. And when I say Kali, I mean Kali Linux. That's the operating system we're using for this. All right. So I'm gonna plug in our IP. I'm gonna pull it from here again. There we go. And there's that Apache landing page that we saw in our Mmap scan. All right. Nothing really useful here. Although, and I stated this in the write-up, if you're doing an actual pen test, this is a finding. This shouldn't be available for the public to see in real life. We don't typically run across this. Like if you go to maybe a coffee.com, for example, it shouldn't pop up with this. should pop up whatever the website is, right? So this is a finding. It's not useful for us in this CTF, but absolutely you would record this. All right. Let's look back at our scan real quick. That's not it. That's not it. Here we go. All right. So look at this line here, robots.txt. Again, to disallowed, and I can show you now what I meant by what I was saying. So the subdomain robots.txt takes us to this page here, right? And if you read this, it tells you exactly, well, it says exactly what I was trying to say in layman's terms, right? So let me see. This file tells search engines not to index your CUP server. I don't know what that means, CUP server, but it tells search engines not to look here. That's it, basically. Not to see this. Disallow this from your search. Awesome. All right. So it's telling us don't. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do, right? That's what we're here for. So copy this, and let's see what happens when we visit it, even though we were told not to. And I got too many slashes. There we go. All right. So there's nothing here, and that's okay. This will also be a finding. You will report this. Shouldn't be available. It's a lot of information being told here, right? Operating system, you know, stuff people don't need to know, right? But let me take a quick look at this. All right, never mind. That's fine. But what is open EMR? What does this even mean? Right? I don't know, me personally. But I would go to the one page or place that I think would have the information. Good old Uncle Google. All right, pop that in there. Let's see what we get. All right, clearly I've been here before. It's highlighted in purple. OpenEMR 5.0.1.3 is a vulnerability in the web apps that allows remote code execution. Authenticated. Let me explain what that means. All right, remote code execution is when you're able to do things on somebody else's computer remotely. More than likely, you shouldn't be doing it. Authenticated means you have to have the credentials to do it. So that said, there's a vulnerability here, right? We can't take advantage of it because we have to have the credentials. Now we do have Mitch's credentials. We could try that, but that's beyond the scope of what we're gonna do tonight. So let's dial it back a little bit. All right, back to our Mmap scans and back to our recently obtained credentials from Hydra. All right, so we got these credentials by brute forcing SSH. Then we're going to use these credentials to access that target with these credentials, if that makes sense. If not, I'm going to show you right here what I mean. All right. So to access the SSH service, SSH, we got to use a Mitch. The IP is incorrect. Let's change that. 214.201. And we have the port. Oops. And we have the port here that we're trying to access. Now looking at this syntax, I think something's off, but we're about to find out. Yeah, it's hanging. All right. So just like
Put your P.
that's exactly what was missing. Stacy, you didn't let me get to it now. Let me see.
Oh, my bad.
No, you good. I'm messing with you. All right. So as Stacy suggested, we have to specify the port with a dash P. All right, so what is this? That's weird. So disregard that. We're going to answer yes to this question, and we're going to enter Mitch's secret password, right? Now, when you're entering passwords on the SSH service, it won't appear. And like with many things within Linux, you won't see what you're typing. So if you mess up, I like to just backspace for a little bit and start over. Yeah, I'm messing up a lot. SECRET. All right. All right. So this cursor here and all this information here lets us know that we are now logged in as Mitch. And to test that, we'll first do a who am I? Tells us who we are. We're Mitch. Awesome. All right. Next piece I like to do, I like to see where am I? So that'll be a P, a W, a D. All right. Print working directory. We're in Mitch's home folder. Okay. Before I get too involved in Mitch's business, I like to do a history check, right? So, because you never know what was typed before you got here. So do a history. In this case, we can't. That's cool. It's not important. All right. Also, let's poke around in Mitch's home directory while we're here. Let's do that. So ls, what's that again, audience? Anybody? ls is list. There you go. List.
List service.
List service, correct. All right, so a list with a -LA to show hidden files as well. Got a couple things here. All right. One thing that stands out above everything else for me is this user.txt, right? .txt files are meaty, right? So let's see what's inside of that. Let's cat that out. Cat for LA is list access correct. Well, no, LA is think of it as list all, right? As in list everything, including hidden files. Now, if that's, I'm not sure if that's the exact. Let's do this right quick. ls was LA-H. I'll figure it out for you. I can't remember the exact.
L is long format and A is all.
Okay, there you go, Stacy. Put that in the chat for me. Thank you so much. All right, back here though, cat means concatenate, which also means read the file out. Okay, in layman's. So cat user.txt. All right, good job. Keep up. All right, so here we're going to pause for a second because we have questions to answer that we've been neglecting. So pop back over here. Everybody take a look at their questions. Let's see what we can answer with what we've done so far. All right, what's the CVE you're using against the application? Still haven't explored this, but we will. But let's continue down, right? So to what kind of vulnerability is the application vulnerable? Haven't explored that one yet. What's the password? We did do this. Anybody? Remember Mitch's secret password? Yep. All right.
I think it was maybe one of those. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's secret. Where can you log in with the details you obtained? Mitch's credentials is what they're asking. What did I just do? There we go. Where can you use Mitch's credentials? What service?
Maybe the SSH, although it does give a host IP address.
No, you were correct. SSH. All right, so if you look at these asterisks here, kind of tips you off on what the answer is. It's like a secret to doing CTFs on Try Hack Me, right? SSH fits. Awesome. What's the user flag? We just got that, and which is the reason I really stopped to pause to answer some of these questions. If we look here, user.text, when we catted it out, what do we have? Good job. Keep up. Looking here, what fits this space, this asterisk? Good job. Keep up. Oh yeah, exclamation point. I'm like, it shouldn't have three. All right. So copy. All right, and paste. All right. Is there any other user in the home directory? What is his name? Let's find that out now. I'm gonna put this to the side for a second. And let's look around and see if we can find any other users. So it asks specifically, is there any other user in the home directory? Let's CD our way over to that directory. PWD, we're in the home. Let's see what's in here. Got two names. We know about Mitch, but who is Sunbath? It's really not our business, but the question asks. So Sunbath would be the other user for this question here. Boom. All right. All right. So questions so far? Anybody? We're gonna go back up and try to answer. I'm gonna give you guys options. We can either go back up and figure these out, or we continue along and get the rest of this. Yay or nay in the chat. Continue or go back. Raise hand for go back.
Continue.
All it takes is one. I appreciate it. Up two. Awesome. All right, so let's look at our questions before we proceed. What can you do? What can you leverage to spawn a privileged shell? That's a great question. So essentially what's happening here with these last two questions, we have to escalate our privileges. We have to become root. What's root? Root is the highest level user you can find or access on a Linux-based machine. On a Windows machine, I believe it's called what is it? It's called net something. I can't recall, and I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, Linux root. That's what we want. It's awesome to be. Let's get it. So the way I like to start by trying to figure out how to gain root access, I like to start with a sudo super user do -L just to see what the current user is able to access. All right, cool. We got something. All right, so what this means is, what this is saying is that Mitch is able to run this binary meaning a program, just simply, it's a different way of saying program. The program Vim. Vim is a text editor, okay? And when Mitch runs this, it runs as root. That's what all this means, okay? So we're gonna leverage that, right? Keyword being leverage. Keyword that also appeared in our questions here, leverage. What are we gonna leverage? Vim. Oops, Vim, okay? And that's the answer to that question. Anyone confused about that before we actually use Vim to get root? Okay. All right, so let's move on. So we know that Vim is going to be used to gain root access. How do we actually do it? Right? How do we do it? There's a site, a website that everybody uses. And Stacy, I'm asking you specifically, and I'm typing it as I ask. But go ahead and tell me what that site is, please.
GTFO Vim.
There it is. All right. What does this stand for?
Get the front.
That's what I thought it meant. I thought it meant that. I was completely on board with saying it. All right, so Vim is the binary we're looking for here. All right. Sudo is the command that we're looking for to use with Vim. It's all here, right? Let's click sudo. All right. We have options. If the binary is allowed to run as superuser by sudo, it does not drop the elevated privileges and may be used to access the file system, escalate or maintain privileged access. Exactly what we want to do. And this is saying, in layman's, that if you use sudo with any one of these, these Vim scripts here, you should gain root access. It's saying a little bit more than that, but that's the gist. All right. So let's try the first one. We're just gonna copy it. Gonna bring it back over to our terminal that we're working out of here. Gonna paste it in, and we're gonna hit enter. It looks like nothing happened. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this through definitions and associations. Is pseudo short for pseudonym? No, pseudo is short for. It's debatable. People debate what it really means. I'm sure we can run a help command to tell us, but I've always known it to mean super user. The word do. Okay, what does this mean? I'm gonna tell you real quick. This means that you can run anything if you put this command in. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. If you put sudo and you have the privileges, you should be able to run the program with this. Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. Back over here. All right. So it looks like nothing happened. We did this. It was fancy. But we just got a blank cursor. Now, if we do a who am I though, we're root, right? Exactly who we want to be. As root, we can do whatever we want now. We can go back and look at Mitch. We can look at Sunbath. We can do whatever. But we're here to find, according to this, the root flag. Okay. First, I like to just list and see what PWD seal we are in the home directory. All right. With Mitch and Sunbath. Okay. Where will we go to find the root flag? Suggestions? Yep. Go to the root directory, which Stacy suggested in the chat as, and it is / which represents the root directory on a Linux machine. Okay. So we have all this stuff, right, with the top of the root directory, and we have all these options and folders and so on and so forth. Remember what we're looking for. We're looking for the root flag. Looking at these, what would you go at these options here? What would you go first? We're looking for the root flag.
Maybe the root.
That's it. All right, so CD, root, PWD, we're in root. Take a look in root and see what's in there with LS. We got root.txt. What do we do to read it?
ls-la or something like that.
I'm going to put that in because you suggested it, but that's not quite it. Now, that's important. I'm glad you mentioned it, that it does allow us to see everything else inside of this root folder. But to actually read this flag here, there's another command we will use. Stacy, you can't answer.
Put it in the chat. I didn't answer it.
I see what you did there. She actually dropped a clue. All right, so slick. Good job. All right. But yeah, that's it. Cat. There you go, Asia. So cat root dot text. And we have another flag. Well done. You made it. Copy. Let's bring it over to our questions. Paste. Submit. Awesome. All right, we have two other questions. We're going to double back, take a look at what these could potentially be. All right. But we've effectively rooted this device. This will potentially be the end, but we have these supplemental questions. So let's clear out some of these boxes to make some space. All right. What is this? Oh, Jesus, I'm in Vim. Once you get in Vim, you can't get out. I'm playing. It's a joke amongst IT folks. It's weird getting out of here. Is it Q?
I do colon Q exclamation point.
Colon Q. No,
You didn't let you out?
I'm stuck in for life. Let me do this.
WQ?
I'm gonna just collapse the terminal. Never
Wow.
mind. Yeah, Vim sucks. All right, let me blow this up. All right, we no longer need this either. Well, actually, no. Let's keep this. We can use this. All right, mention his password. Let's just keep this in mind. I'm gonna clear this one though. All right. So to get the answers to these last two questions, we have to double back and finish exploring what we had on port 80, right? Remember when we were using this open EMR and all this goodness, right? We hit a dead end here. That's fine. What we want to do when we're faced with port 80 is go ahead and enumerate. What does that mean? We can do it manually, but we want to essentially run a tool that tells us what other subdomains, and I can show you what this is a subdomain, for example. Everything after this slash subdomain. So the core website, then you got the subdomain. If you put another slash and some gobbledygook, the gobbledygook would be the next subdomain, so on and so forth. Okay? All right. We have a tool that'll tell us, though. We can kind of brute force, and that's essentially what it's doing, brute force and subdomains using the list. That'll tell us if there's anything else available beyond this point and onward. Okay. So let me clear this mess. I don't want to confuse y'all. Let's start here. All right. There's two tools I like to use. I use them in every situation. Derb and GoBuster, which I run here. All right, and I'll explain the syntax in a second. Let me get the IP address in here. 10.10.214.201. And 214.201. All right. Explain the syntax. DIRB syntax is super simple. You type the tool name and you type the target. That's it. Then you press enter. Boom. So let that run. All right. GoBuster's a little bit more complex, but it's faster. It's a faster tool than DIRB. So the tool name, GoBuster, dir for directory, -u for URL, the URL or the target. Then you got the -w for word list, and then the path to the word list. And I always use this word list here, the medium directory list, lowercase. This is included in Kali if you have it. So if you want to, and I put it in the chat, want to hold on to this path, you can use that going forward. And then you press enter and let that go. Now, be mindful. DIRB started a couple minutes ahead of GoBuster because I had to give the whole speech about syntax. We'll see which one gets there first. I kind of already know which one's going to get there first. All right. Spoiler, it's GoBuster. Any questions while we wait on this? All right. That's fine because GoBuster is done. It's not done. It still has some searching to do. It has to search through all of these. This is where it's at, and this is where it's going, and this is that in percentage. Okay. But it hit something. A /simple subdomain. And this is the entirety of that listed out. So if you get a link in your terminal from any one of your tools, quick trick you can do is you hold control and click it. And of course it's not working for me. It may work for you. I think my options are off a bit. But you can control click any link and it should take you, open up your browser and take you there. But I'm going to go ahead and copy this because mine is not working. All right, so let's see where this takes us. So look at here. We have a whole website that we didn't know was there, right? A whole web application that we weren't aware of. CMS Made Simple. What is this? Anybody?
Maybe like content management system?
That's exactly what it is. Good, great job. You work in web development?
No. But I've heard that term used a lot.
Okay, that's exactly what it is. All right, break that down for us, Rishi. What is the content management system? Just your best guess if you don't know.
I would assume that it stores a lot of content that is used to render websites, so it might store like all the yeah.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Good job on that. All right, so how can we use that? We know what it is. We know what it does. Cool. But what can we do with it as I guess as penetration testers or whatever we are or claiming right now? All right, so right here at the bottom left, we have a version. Always look for a version on everything you land on, right? Because with a version number, we can look for vulnerabilities. I'm going to copy this. So we have version 2.2.8. It may not always be at the bottom left. You may have to search for it sometimes, but absolutely, if you can find a version number, cool, it'll help. And I'm going to show you how. All right, we're going to let this scan continue, but we're going to clear this top terminal here because we no longer need it. Oops, I'm not even typing it. I'm going to open up a new terminal. How about that? And I'm gonna blow it up. All right. CMS Made Simple version 2.2.8. How do we search for vulnerabilities from our terminal? There's a tool we use called Searchploit. So it'd be simply Searchploit and whatever we're searching and run it. Nothing. Okay, cool. That's fine. We may have gave it too much information, so let's break it down just a little bit. Let's take the version word out of there. There you go. So in red, Searchploit is telling us there's a SQL injection. Emphasis on the SQL injection that we can use to gain access to that web management service, CMS Made Simple. Okay, we have the answer to one of our questions here. That's why I put the emphasis on this piece. Let's look at which question it applies to. To what kind of vulnerability is the application vulnerable? And here's, I got confused here myself. And you're looking at this like, okay, SQL, it says it here. But there's only, that's 4 placeholders here. All right. Somebody tell me where I made the mistake at the first time I looked at it. If you're making a mistake now and you're confused, tell me why, right? And I can concur. Then I'll tell you the answer.
It's the abbreviation, isn't it?
Was that?
It's the abbreviation.
It's the abbreviation. But
Mhm.
can you tell how I got tripped up when I first did it? So SQL injection. I'm like, what? I can't type SQL injection here. Of course, yeah, it's the abbreviation. They want you to type SQLI for injection. All right. The hint, the hint does not help at all. I'm like, what is this? This makes no sense. But SQLI, I for the injection piece is what they're asking. And sometimes I illustrate this. Sometimes you're going to come up against questions like this with hints that make absolutely no sense, right? And I'm sorry, I don't, I don't just had to work it out, right? Try to make sense of it. Google it. Absolutely, you're allowed to Google it when things don't make sense. What's the CVE you're using against the application? Okay, CVE is common vulnerabilities and exposures. What does that mean? It means, well, how can I break this down? It's a list of vulnerabilities. I don't know the providing party, I can't recall, that's listed on the internet that everybody knows about. They typically give them scores and identification numbers. I can show you better than I can tell you, perhaps. Let's go here real quick. Let's type CVE. All right, here's
But
one. What's
but
that?
I like that there are multiple agents, there are multiple entities that provide that type of listing, though, like MITRE, DHS, and a couple others.
Correct. Exactly. As you see here, there's a MITRE.org here. But yeah, there's different organizations, and they sometimes they rate them differently, right? Everybody doesn't rate the same CVE with the same exact score. The score meaning the severity, like if it's super bad to have this vulnerability, or if it's just something you can like patch up casually. So look at this. I looked up this earlier, so it's here. All right. So if we click this, we don't even have to click it. Just looking at the information here in the hit, we can tell that CVE-2019, which is the year it was discovered, and the number it was given, right? 9053. This is the answer that that question is looking for. The CVE associated with that SQL injection that we found. So copy and what's my question? Oh, paste. All right. So if you just submitted that, congratulations, you've completed the room, right? There are multiple ways to complete that room. We could have used that CVE, right? And we could have used this SQL injection and this Python script that it provides to exploit it with this, but we didn't, right? We took the easy way out, and that's okay, all right?
I actually tried it.
You
It
tried
was
it?
rough.
Yeah,
It was
you have to
rough.
go in and edit it. It's a lot going on with that, right? But I'm glad somebody tried it. I appreciate the, what word am I looking for? Good job. Let's just leave it at that. Good job. I scanned though. Look at our scan. Look at our derb scan. So it picked up so many other subdomains while we were talking. This one would have also been a potential avenue, right, for exploitation. I can show you that one real quick. So copy / admin. Always look for the admin subdomain because that's a way in. And I'll paste it here to show you, right? See this? Login pages are gold, right? If you can figure out how to get here, you can access so much. Fortunately, we kind of did, right? And I did this earlier. So Mitch and those credentials that we found works here. So secret takes us right in. What can we do from here? A lot, right? We are a site admin now. We can do some things. We can add pages to the website. We can take pages away, but I recommend trying to figure out a way to put a shell on this device so we can access it from our machine and do things to it. And you would use one of these options here. Content manager, and you probably add new content, and you would probably post a exploit or reverse shell here, right? And then post it. I'll show you. Let me see, can I do it real quick? Real quick. Let me minimize this. Just stop this. Clear that. And if we're going too fast, it's fine. I got things laid out where I know where everything is located. So I'm looking for a PHP reverse shell. And it may not even be PHP. You don't know if this site even takes PHP. So you may have to try a couple of things, right? It says it here though, look. PHP. All right, so we would try to potentially, let me minimize this, use a PHP reverse shell. And I guess I can explain what a reverse shell is. Would this also be on the NIST website? Yes, the CVE piece. Yeah, you could probably find it on this as well. Sorry for the delayed response. All right. What was I doing? Oh, so I'm gonna do mouse pad so it's pretty. All right. So this is the script that would give us a reverse shell. What's a reverse shell? Well, there's two types of shells. And yeah, we out of scope and we're a little bit past our time, but I'll explain it real quick. Reverse shell is a shell that you use. Well, shells are, you know what a shell is. Shell is something that you use to access another device. It's within the terminal. Okay, like what we did with Mitch and SSH. That's a shell or a type of shell. Um, a reverse shell is something that you initiate. It's a shell that you initiate from the target machine, right? Back to your machine. The other type of shell that's available is called a bind shell, and it's the other way around. So you would start on your machine and connect to the target on their machine, kind of like the SSH situation. That's more of a bind shell. Reverse shell is more the sneaky type shell Could you show the Python way if you have time? Oh, whew. It's a lot. I could try. We will see. But reverse shell. This is a pre-created reverse shell. All you have to do here is plug in your IP, plug in the port you want to connect to, right? And this is my IP for TriAcme, and this is the port we're going to use. And I'm gonna copy that. Let me bring it back up. Copy all this, Control A, Control C, and we're gonna drop it here on this content management. See, I'm gonna call it something, Lamar's Shell, and we're gonna submit it. So now this is somewhere on this website. Potentially has a subdomain called Lamar Shell, right? Lamar's underscore shell. Unfortunately, this is where I decided to do something else. I didn't go forward with it, so at this point, I'll just be fumbling around in the dark. I think it may be at uploads, but I had already compromised the machine. I went to bed. So let me check real quick if that's an option. Nope, nope. Let's try Lamar Shell. Nope. Okay. All right. All right. But I hope you guys understand where I was trying to go with that, right? So what did I do real quick? We found, just to review, we found, one second, we found, back up, we found a subdomain called Simple, which provided us access to CMS, the content management site. We used Mitch's credentials that we gained from our SSH brute force and found that we can use that to access that website. And what I was trying to do is just add a PHP reverse shell, which I explained what that was, so we could access the machine that way. But long story short, if you can access a machine with SSH, you won. You don't need anything else really, right? It's a solid shell. You can navigate it. You really don't have to worry about it like collapsing on you or closing, exiting, unless the target turns the computer off. Right. So after that point, when you do gain access, you probably want to like establish like a backdoor foothold or something. We're not going into that, but yeah, SSH is solid. Probably the best thing you can get access with. One of the best things. And Veronica wants to try the Python thing. All right, let's see. Stay. Some of these will help while you laughing. Hold on.
I'm trying. I remember me and Garrett were fighting with this thing, but I'll try as much as I can.
All right. So what was that? Let me see. Which is search exploit.
Exploit CMS leaks and
All right. And that was
2.2.8, I think.
all right. All right. It's here. First thing we got to do is get this onto our machine, or at least a copy of it. To do that, we will go search exploit -m for module, and then the number 46635. That gets us a copy. This is where it put it, right where we are now. So if I ls, it should be here. Here it is. And now I want to use mousepad just like I did with the PHP reverse shell to take a look at it. What? Clearly I did something wrong. Oh, the .py. All right. All right, put your file extension. Seems that the previous session did not end normally. Yeah, that's fine. All right, here we go. All right, so from here, we got to do some editing of some things. Give me a second to look this over. Typically, we want to find a piece where it says IP. So let's find IP. Nope.
Base target.
Oh yeah,
URI, I think.
yeah, right here. So we would change this to was SQL injection. More than likely, this would have been that admin page, right? So HTTP 10.10.214 dot was it 201 for me? Make sure.
Wait a minute, I don't think that. Wait a minute. Oh, you don't need to change that. I don't think.
214.20201. You know what I'm gonna do? One second. I'm gonna cheat because
I
I'm
don't
sure
think you have to do that.
we not even gonna guess at it. What we gonna do is use the power of try hack me and go over here with the write-ups and see if somebody else did it first. And we're gonna no, wow, this guy. All right, next. Let me scan this right quick and see if somebody else did it.
Right.
Not seeing anything here. Let's try the next one. I don't know what this is. No. Next. All right. This is in Spanish. Jesus Christ. All right. Uh,
Which documentation are we looking for?
we're trying to use that SQL injection, but you have to edit that Python script, right? And I'm not as confident with Python as I would like to be in life. Not yet. Let's do that. Let's claim it for later. All right. So yeah, I know though. I seen one of these, and all of them seem to be dead. All of them, or in Spanish. Veronica, look what you got us doing. Let me see. But I want to know myself now. The Python script you're trying to use is written by Python 2.7, which is deprecated. If you want to install a module, you don't want to do that. No apologies necessary. I'm messing with you. After, I feel like I went over this though, and then I gave up. Let me see. Let me take one of these over here. Okay, this may have what we're looking for.
Or you have to import some stuff.
Um, I think this, yeah, here we go. Search exploit, they did that, we did that. We downloaded the module, open the script with Vim. No, we use a mouse pad. Uh, the script is quite complex, let alone for people with no experience with Python and time-based SQL injection exploitation. But the only thing that matters here is how we can use it. This is simple. We only need to run the script with -u, -w, and crack parameters. It's time to use the exploit. So I'm gonna copy and paste what he has here, and we're gonna run it on our machine. Let me look at what it is. Okay. All right. And this is not the folder we were in. Derb is out of control. Let me stop that.
Okay, I might have it, so give me a second.
You got it?
I might.
All right.
My fingers are being crossed right now.
Okay, while you crossing your fingers, I'm gonna see what this guy is. Yeah, missing parameters in call. Now you gotta go in here and edit the Python script because there's something wrong. Specify in the URL. You gotta do that. What line was that? 25. Okay.
Last time I tried it to do something weird.
All right, for everybody who needs to go, I appreciate you guys coming. We're being extra right now, so it's cool. If you want to stick around and watch us figure out the hard part or the alternative way to solve this box, by all means, stick around. But I appreciate everybody coming. Like always, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll drop my link in the chat real quick. And I appreciate everybody, each and every one of you showing up to this evening, tongue tied. Yeah. If you need to see the video, it should be up on the blog in maybe a day or two. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Now back to this. Yes. Line 25, specify a URL target. All right, cool.
All right, I got it.
You got it? So, Stacy, could you share your screen, please?
Oh dear.
Go ahead and share it. I'm stopping mine.
Now, with this Python script, was it written from scratch or were you pulling it from a repository?
This Python script is pulled from the Searchploit tool. No problem, Asia. Thanks for coming. Oh, she already left. Yes, it's pulled from that Searchploit tool. So your operating system, your Kali operating system, has a I guess repository of exploits built in that you can pull from. It's either that or Searchploit pulls it from a online site. It copies it to your machine. I think that's the way it works more so. So yeah, you can use that to pull exploits. And it pulls them from ExploitDB. So yeah, it pulls them from the website.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Stacy, what you got?
Can you see it? I don't know why it went here, but this is the results. I might have to retype what I put in here.
Okay, password correct.
Okay, first you have to install two things.
Okay.
Find the right syntax. What is it? I'm not sure why I took on my screen like that, but anyway. You have to install this Python 2.7.
Yeah, I saw that in
Yep.
Yep.
Install term color. And then you also need to do requests. So once you get those two in there, Then the syntax is, and I'll call that one.
So
C466
3, 5, I think.
35
Yeah.
5. U, and then your domain, which is 5, 6,
So I'm assuming it doesn't run with Python, like the current versions of Python. You have to
Yeah, I guess it's
downgrade it.
written in this specific
Yeah.
one because I tried it and it kept giving me errors.
Okay.
And then correct. And then you have to use a word list. So
Like rock, throw a rock you in there.
use rock you.
Okay.
So if you got a screenshot of that,
All right.
just let her rip. And it'll take a few minutes, but it'll give you.
What's that say? Oh, it's just print out the hash.
Yeah, it'll find the salt and then the username, then the email, and then the hash, and then I guess it corrects the hash.
Fancy. I think I'm gonna try doing more of these search exploit based exploits, just so I can play around with the Python piece of it. Well, whatever, the handcrafted scripts.
Yeah, Python gets me every time.
It's interesting.
So this is a SQL injection that running in the background, I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. I tried to do like a little SQL on the little login page. It didn't work.
With the what is it, the 1 = 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something I did it right. I don't know.
All right. Cool. Well, Veronica,
That's
there you go. I learned a little bit. I appreciate you asking that question because I damn sure was about to just call it a night. But yeah, that's awesome. I don't think I ran across an exam yet where I've had to use that. Now EJPT, I think it only required that you figure out that a SQL injection was available, right? Not to actually use it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I told you you had it again, Stacy. Like if you can do all this, you can go ahead and pass your EJPT, get that out the way. Your CISA Plus, that's gonna be easy for you. You're in a good space. In a
I
good
mean,
space.
if I flunk, I would be like, oh
I think next week we're gonna do some Windows-based exploitations, right? Some stuff with Responder or something. Because Linux, everybody does Linux, but PMPT, that test is mostly Windows-based. So it's gonna be for me as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably get around to the Active Directory stuff.
AD. Yep.
I can only, it was only two of them. I couldn't get my golden ticket to work, and I couldn't get the print thingy to work. But I think it's because it's patched already.
Did you download the labs? You got like separate labs? Did you set up like a Windows 2012 server for your AD and like two boxes?
Yeah, the 2019, sorry, the domain controller 2019.
Yeah, DC.
And then I have two Windows 10.
Yeah. I did the same thing. It's been a minute. I got to go back and play around with it myself. But yeah, okay. All right. You're welcome, Veronica. Thanks, Stacy. She came through clutch. All right, guys.
I'll see you around.
All right. Yeah, have a good one.
Oh, I have one question. What
Huh?
would be some what would be some good activities to do between today and next Friday?
All right. So you have access to Track Me.
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna give you some of the boxes that we've done up to this point, right? At least so you can, because this is your first day attending, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna assign you a couple of boxes that we've done. I think the best way for me to do that is to go over because I posted our classes from I guess the last couple of sessions, the last 3 sessions. So you can do these boxes. I'm gonna just give you a link.
Okay.
All right. So you go here, and those 3 boxes that we have posted, you can start with those, right? If you need any assistance, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can follow the video. Some of these I had some technical issues with, and I say as such in the description, but you can fast forward through my problems, right? And get what you need out of it.
Mm.
Yeah, so we got hacked, lazy admin, and lazy. Oh, this is wrong. I gotta change that. This is a whole different web app test. I gotta change that descriptor. But yeah, these are all rated easy, so you know,
Mm.
yeah, quote unquote. All right,
Sounds great.
all right. We'll see you next week.